Incremental greetings. I have something insightful. So the concept of Permastore, permanent storage. That means that once you have stored one piece of information, you're not going to forget it, ever. Well, strictly speaking, that doesn't exist for humans. But, depends how you interpret this, it falls in that description. So I have a flashcard. Yes, I wanted to be to come full circle. And by the way, that was a genuine flashcard from my collection. Says the concept of Permastore in editable memory is true only if you understand it as a long-lasting memories that reach what? That reach beyond your expected lifespan. And that's the key. So let's say that I have an item, a flashcard, that I see next month, next year, 2 years, 10 years, 30, and when I don't know, I am 70 years old or 60, and I review that flashcard again, what's going to happen? The next interval will be way above my lifespan, my life expectancy. That means that, hey, I no longer required any repetition. According to the stability of this flashcard, I no longer require any single repetition. That means that this will be stored and it won't be forgotten. Hey, that's Permastore. Yes, because the life expectancy is making this finite in the time, is the bottleneck. But there's something insightful that, hey, eventually, in my flashcard collection, I have been using spaced repetition for 15 years. I actually don't have flashcards like that. I will show you some that are kind of close already. But hey, that means that some flashcards, unless I do search for them, I'm not going to see them again ever in my life. So how do I know if I remember everything, right? Because perhaps I will have forgotten that this very same flashcard, but I will know until this comes in the future, and I see it again, and I have the opportunity to make the recall, and oh shoot, I don't recall it, right? Let's view some examples of mine. It will be nice to have this from the collection of Piotr Wozniak, because he's 60 and he has a collection of my lifespan, actually 36 years. Okay, so that is the longest next repetition I have, the one for the furthest, 2060. That means I was born in 1987, so that means I will be 73. So, yeah. The average, at least in the country I live, for men is about 78, 80 years old. So it's safe to assume, I hope, that I will be alive. Very likely I will be using flashcards or super memo or a computer as how we interpret this today. Perhaps it will be a chip like Neuralink. But to simplify, wait a second. I did just a few repetitions, not many. 12 days, a month, 3 months, then this went tenfold, 900 days, and then 30,000 days, massive. And look at the stability. So the stability is not that far from my actual age. I'm 36. And the stability is almost 36 as well. So that means that I will only require one repetition in my lifespan when I double my age, more or less. And that's it. Could happen some other cards. Let's see, 2020. Okay, so here's an easy card. That in Super Memo, the knowledge tree is essential for success in learning, and it's false, it's optional. So that's the fact that has a stability of almost a decade, and the interval is 13 years. So it's feasible that I will see this next time. But what will happen next time, in 2037, is that it's very likely I will hit a grade of 5, the easiest. And perhaps it will be outstanding for a while because of the priority range. So this will have a bonus when I rate the card successfully. So that means that perhaps this could escalate 5 times or even tenfold like the one I showed before. So I'm pretty sure that the next repetition will be the last one I will do in my lifespan. That means that this is one repetition away to become Permastore. That unless I have dementia or whatever, so assuming I'm healthy and I die because of old age, I will not require any single repetition again. I will remember this for life. The only downside is that according, for instance, the retrievability of this flashcard, it's 99.8%. So that means that if we have the list of all of the flashcards like that in my collection, for instance, if I aggregate everything of the different software I'm using, I have more than 100,000 flashcards. So that means that, to simplify, that 0.2% of those flashcards will be forgotten because I'm human. So even if they are very stable in memory and so on, regardless of that, some small percentage I will forget those facts. And not only that, since I won't see those, because the next repetition it's beyond my life expectancy, unless I search for them, I will not become aware that, shoot, I have forgot this ahead of time. So here you go. We could simplify that. Okay, let's put the red line as an example, that I will die that day. So hey, at this very tiny red dot is where I die, but hey, the next repetition is later, right? Like perhaps 10 years later, whatever. And what could happen that when it's about 70% or whatever is when I have forgotten this very same card. The 0.2% of the cards will happen between here. So can I call it Permastore? Well, as a human, I could say that, because if we come to the definition, not the definition, the understanding of this, is that it will be long-lasting memories that reach beyond my life expectancy. So from 99.8% of my flashcards, eventually will be like this, beyond my lifetime. I know, it's something insightful, especially now that people may have used spaced repetition at very young age, like 10 years old. I know at least 2 people that started spaced repetition at 10. So imagine that you are just a kid. You start at 10 and you are 90. Oh no, you have like 80 years of lifespan using spaced repetition. What will happen? Well, because I started at 21. Yeah, I could be talking about some theories, speculations I have, but I would also like to know your opinion. Especially you have used spaced repetition for a very long time, or you think you will for the future. If you should care, is okay, what's the point if I don't have permanent memory? So I won't see those flashcards again, and I won't become aware of that forgetting before I die. Well, looking at the bright side, something I mentioned is that unless you search for those flashcards. So that means that, okay, I have forgotten 0.2% of my flashcards, regardless of my effort and my time commitment. But if I haven't searched for those flashcards in my last, I don't know, 10 years or decades of my life, it's because they were not important. They were not applicable in my daily life. So therefore, yes, I have forgotten what I have chosen to remember across my lifetime, but regardless of that, what I have forgotten is the least or kind of low priority, because I will have identified, hey, I have this goal, or I will have searched for that card and reset it manually or stuff like this. I hope you get the point. So, long life. I hope long life to the spaced repetition. I don't know if in my lifetime there will be something even better that will outdate spaced repetition. I don't know. But at least it's the insightful for today. See you incrementally.